Welcome students. In this video we're going to take a look at how to write and evaluate algebraic expressions that represent real-world situations. Specifically, we're going to look at the relationship when we're looking at a table, how we can write an expression to model what's happening there. Before we get started, why did the teacher jump into the pool? Well, he wanted to test the water. Get it? Test the water, like he's a teacher, so test, but test the, okay. All right, anyway, let's take a look at our first example here. So we're given the situation. A radio station played 12 songs each hour. Complete the table below, modeling the number of songs S played in H hours. Okay, so 12 songs each hour means every hour there's 12 songs, right? So in 1 hour, we're told in the problem that's 12 songs. So if it's 2 hours, we're just going up by 12, right? This is essentially a ratio table. Our values are increasing, 12 songs every hour. So if I add 12 more, now I'm at 24. Now it says 3 hours, which would be plus 12 more, would give me 36. All right, so here then, if I have 10 hours, it's asking me to figure out, okay, well, how many songs is that? Be careful, it's not 48, right? Because hours, you see it goes 1, 2, 3, but then it doesn't say 4, it says 10. Right? And if I think about that, it's 12 songs per hour, that means in 10 hours, it's going to play 120 songs. Okay, so if we're looking for an expression, it says write an expression modeling the number of songs played after H hours. Okay, so if I look at my table, it says songs played after H hours. It's telling me I'm going to use the variable H, right? It's asking for the number of songs. So basically what it's saying is, how do I get from H over to S? I'm going to change colors here real quick. So what do I need to do to H here to get myself over to S this way? Meaning, what am I doing to 1 to get to 12? What am I doing to 2 to get to 24? What am I doing to 3 to get to 36? And so on, right? And what we see is that really we're multiplying by 12. Right? 1 times 12 is 12. 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times 12 is 36. So if I'm going from H to S, what am I doing? Well, I'm just multiplying by 12, right? So it's just 12 times H or 12H. Remember when we're multiplying there, the 12 is what's called the coefficient. We don't actually need the multiplication symbol there. Right? When it's a number directly next to a variable, it indicates multiplication. Okay, so now for part C, it says write an expression modeling how many hours it would take to play S songs. So I want you to look at the order here though, right? We're given the variable S songs, right? We're starting from S songs, and we want to figure out how many hours it would take to play that many songs. Meaning we're going from S back to H. How do I get from the S side, from songs played, back to figure out how many hours it is? And we see that this relationship is the inverse of multiplication. So instead of multiplying by 12 to get from 10 to 120, now I'm just going to divide by 12 to get back to hours. 12 divided by 12 is 1. 24 divided by 12 is 2. 36 divided by 12 is 3, right? So depending on which direction I'm going on the table, what I'm trying to do, the relationship there is either multiplication or division. So when I look at this, my expression is going to be, well, if I take the number of songs, S, and I divide that by 12, that's going to tell me the number of hours, right? And you can write it like this, S divided by 12, or the way you'll typically see it now that we're, covering algebra, we'll see S divided by 12 a lot written as a fraction, right? Because a fraction is a division problem. All right, so all we're really doing for that is just we're writing our expressions, right? So what is happening in the problem? As I go from hours to songs, I'm multiplying by 12. As I'm going from songs to hours, I'm dividing by 12. All right, let's keep going because then we actually have to apply these expressions we wrote to look at some information here. Okay, so now it says, use one of the expressions you wrote to determine how many songs would be played in 8 hours. Well, when we think about what we're actually doing here, right, it says, how many songs are played in 8 hours? Well, the information I'm given is that it's been playing for 8 hours, right? So that means I know that H equals 8, right? I'm told that in the problem that it's been playing for 8 hours, so H equals 8. Well, if I'm trying to figure out which expression I'm going to use, I'm just going to go back to my two expressions I wrote, 12H or S divided by 12. Well, I'm given the number of hours, so I'm just going to use the expression that is for finding the number of songs and that where I'm using hours to figure that out, right? So I'm going to use that expression 12H, or 12 times H. But again, I'm told that H is 8, so I'm just going to substitute that value in. So it's 12 times 8, right? I'll just rewrite it, but I replaced H with 8 because I'm told that it's 8 hours. And then I just multiply it out. 12 times 8 is 96. So I would say 96 songs played in 8 hours. Okay, so the trick there, right, being able to identify which expression you're going to use and then actually substitute your value into that expression to evaluate it and figure out the answer to your problem. Okay, let's take a look at part E here. Jonah was taking a road trip and listening to the radio. He wasn't sure how long he had been driving for, but he knows he listened to 20 songs. How long was he driving? So this time we're told we're doing 20 songs, right? So that means I'm told in the problem that S songs is equal to 20. And my question is asking me how long, right? How many hours was he driving for? So for this one, I'm going to have to use my expression that's S divided by 12. Because when I look at that expression, S divided by 12, now I can substitute in 20 for S, right? Replace that S with 20, and I end up with 20 divided by 12. Now, as you know, 12, when we divide 20 by 12, we're not going to get a whole number quotient. That's okay. 12 goes into 20 one time, right? So when I'm trying to convert that, 12 goes into 20 one time. And then there's 8 left over. So it's 1 and 8/12, which if I simplify it, sorry, I ran out of room there. So 8 and 12 are both divisible by 4. So when I simplify it, I'm going to get 1 and 2/3 hours. Right, 1 and 2/3 hours. If you convert that to minutes, which you don't have to, but if you convert that to minutes, a third of an hour is 20 minutes. So you could say 1 hour and 40 minutes. That would be fine as well. But when we're looking at this, right, the trick there is just finding the right expression. Once you find the right expression, you're just substituting your value in and then performing the operations. All right, so in this video, we took a look at how to look at the problem and using that table to analyze what's going on, and then looking at our table of information and writing expressions that model that. Anytime there's a relationship that exists in a table, we can write it two ways, right? We can write it from left to right, and then the inverse is going to be from right to left. So from H to S, we were multiplying by 12. We could also say that from S to H, we're dividing by 12, right? So just that understanding that anytime we're looking at one of these tables where we're given, information and it's constant, it's a linear table, then we're always going to be able to go both ways across it, and they're going to be inversely related. All right, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Make sure you're doing the try this and the review, and then enter your answers into Schoology. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.